Good afternoon, guys. How's everyone doing on this glorious day today? We can't moan, the sun's out, and we're not doing too bad for November. Not long till Christmas. Hope you're getting your presents ready, guys. Anyway, welcome to my channel, Joey Barnett TV. Thank you to everyone that leaves positive comments. It's you guys that inspires me to push more content onto my channel. And as much as I'm helping you guys, you are helping me too. Because speaking about these things which I speak to you guys about on a day-to-day basis helps me in recovery and helps me with my PTSD. So I thank each and every one of you guys for helping me. And yeah, I know that you guys thank me for helping you. So it works both ways, doesn't it? Big shout out to all my subscribers. You know you are, there's too many of you guys. This afternoon, what I want to have a little chat with you about is something which I'm very familiar with, something which I battled for most of my life, and I don't need to read it out of a book or to read it off study off a computer. You know, it's come straight out of the horse's mouth because I've obviously experienced what I'm going to be talking about. And what I'm going to be talking about to you this afternoon, guys, is addiction. Now, the reason why I'm going to be talking about addiction is because of the comments which is left underneath quite a few of my videos. I've got quite a few of my followers what are in recovery or what are fighting addiction and are getting inspired by my content. And the feeling what that gives me is on another level altogether. So thank you very much indeed for sharing such personal content with me. You know, it's not easy to share things about your personal life when it comes to addiction because it's a taboo subject. Not many people like owning up to addiction. And to be honest with you, that's the very first step. What you would need to do is own up to your addiction. It's your addiction, not no one else's. When you're ill, when you're feeling down, it's only you what can get yourself right again. So, you know, the first step is to own up to addiction. Well, guys, I want to have a little chat with you about different class A drugs. So basically, the first topic which I'm going to be talking about today is cocaine or crack cocaine. They're both very similar. Basically, crack cocaine is cocaine washed up. It's either washed up with bicarbs or ammonia and cooked over a pan or in a microwave, and it's cooked to form into a rock, which then becomes crack. And that's pure, near on pure cocaine. So, you know, there's a fine line. There's a very fine line between cocaine and crack because they're both the same drug. One is a bit more extreme than the other, but in writing and on paperwork, cocaine is cocaine, and that leads to crack. So there's no, in my books, if you're on cocaine or if you're on crack, it's all the same to me, basically. Because what happens is you know, with cocaine is after quite a few years of abuse, you're always trying to chase that high to try and get that same feeling what you very first got. And that's, you know, that has always been the way with addiction and class A drugs. It's got that pull and it's got that power over you and you're a slave to it. So I'm going to go a bit more into depth about it in a little bit, guys. But yeah, cocaine. People sniff cocaine of a weekend. It's sociably accepted. Crack cocaine users are looked at like scum. Now, you know, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. It's one of them ones, isn't it? If you sniff cocaine, then you shouldn't be criticising anyone what's smoking crack because it's exactly the same drug. You know, not many people can get their head around that, but that's the truth of the matter. And this is why it's a taboo subject because, you know, cocaine is used amongst professional people too, not just people what come out of estates and people that go to work. It's also used from lawyers, you know, MPs, doctors, judges, police force, emergency forces. It's used in all different forces, but it's hidden. You know, people hide it from each other until they find that right person who they can open up to and take drugs with, and that is in quite a lot of, as I say, professional jobs. But yeah, you know, there's another side of addiction, that's recreational using. So that means people that sniff cocaine will only sniff it over the weekend. They don't seem to think that they're addicted to drugs, but then they need to take them drugs every weekend because it's a ritual and it's something what they've been doing for many, many years. That is an addiction. You know, there's physical addictions and there's mental addictions. Cocaine isn't a physical addiction, withdrawal, sorry. It's more of a mental withdrawal. So some people can take it one weekend and leave it the next weekend, but on that third or fourth weekend, you will be pulled back. You will definitely be pulled back to that table, and you'll be sniffing it again if you haven't brought it to the table and if you haven't dealt with that problem. And you know, there is so many people like this around in today's society. What sniff cocaine and you know don't believe and don't understand that they've got an addiction. I'm not pointing the finger at anyone individually or nothing like that. This is right the way across the spectrum. As I said, judges, lawyers, you know, and people sniff cocaine together over a weekend. It all leads to addiction. But yeah, that's cocaine. It's a socially accepted drug, which I think is totally wrong because it's just as bad as crack cocaine. A lot of cocaine users look down their nose at people that smoke crack cocaine, and I don't think that's right. So that's my opinion on that, guys. To me, an addiction is an addiction, whether it be crack cocaine or cocaine. It's still an addiction. It's still a problem. You've still got to own it, and you've still got to deal with it. So yeah, that's now crack cocaine. It's a very, very, very. I'm 7 minutes in. I can't be doing too bad. Crack cocaine. When you go onto crack cocaine, at first it's like all drugs. You think you're in control of it. You might have a 20-pound stone to start off with, and you know you could leave it like that until you've got enough money in your pocket, or you know you want another stone, you want another pipe. It's not a physical addiction, it's more of a mental addiction, and it's very similar to cocaine. You know, you're chasing that high, and you'll never ever get the same high as when you first lick that pipe or when you first put that tube up your nose. You'll never ever get the same high. It's all about chasing the buzz, and you know. But crack cocaine is a very, very needy drug, unlike cocaine there. Whereas crack cocaine, when you have one pipe, it makes you feel so good, on a natural high, and the receptors in your brain and everything, it warms you up. It's a completely different buzz, and it's so needy. This is why the crime rate is so high, down to the power and the strength of crack cocaine. You don't see many cocaine users going out shoplifting, thieving, and things like that to get a gram of cocaine, but you do see hundreds of thousands of people going out thieving to order for crack cocaine. So there is a little bit of difference when you look at it like that, guys. So the next subject which I want to talk to you about, because I'm on a timeline, and I've got to stick to that timeline, guys. But yeah, we're 8 minutes in. So the next one that I want to talk to you about is the dreaded one, the one what no one admits to having addiction of. It's a taboo subject. It's a very shameful subject. This is why not many people can own up to it. Not many people can reach out to it. And this subject which I'm going to be talking about now is heroin. Now, I have first-hand experiences in all these subjects which I'm talking about, guys. This is why I can talk for England when it comes to anything to do with drugs, because I've battled addiction for most of my life, and I'm sitting here today abstinent, clean as a whistle. And this is why I like sharing my experiences, because I've got them experiences. I haven't studied them on a computer or read them out of a book. It's coming straight out of my heart. What I'm telling you guys is coming straight out of my heart. And, you know, I've beat addiction. So if I can beat addiction, you know, after many years, then you can. But it's not as easy as that, guys. It really isn't, because if it was as easy as that, then everyone would be doing it, guys. So, heroin now. This is a completely different class A drug than crack and cocaine. It's on a different level altogether. How I first dabbled with heroin was when I went to jail, and I got enticed to use it. I got the taste of it, got the feel of it, and I had a very long sentence ahead of me to do. So who would want to be like stuck in there, feeling every minute of the day in prison, when you can be gouged out of your nut, hanging off your bed, feeling warm, having a nice glow warm around you, and everything's nice. It's not rocket science what one you'd rather be. So that's where I very first got my problem, was in jail. I come out of jail, and yeah, I was dabbling on the outside of jail too. But I very first got my addiction from being in prison. Now, heroin is a very, very, very powerful drug. It's actually the most powerfulest drug in the universe. They say that different substances and different drugs are powerfuler. I'm not going to go into the different medications and anything like that. I'm just going to be talking about this subject. And by the way, I'm not glamorizing addiction. I'm not glamorizing anything about drugs. I'm just sharing my personal experiences, guys. Heroin, you need to wake up the next morning to have your hit, because if you don't, you are physically ill. And when I say ill, I mean having the flu times 100, and that is without exaggeration. You physically need to get a hit, and that's the difference between these two different addictions. With crack cocaine and with cocaine, it's not a physical withdrawal, it's more of a mental withdrawal. And this is why it's so hard to get off of heroin, because the withdrawals are that bad that there's only a very minute percent of the population what are heroin addicted to heroin can actually get off of it. If you speak to many heroin addicts, probably 85 to 90% of them actually do not want to be on it. They're not taking it to get high. They're not taking it for a buzz. They're just taking it to get themselves well, and so that they can function. Because without it, you cannot function. You lose all your body fluids. The withdrawals are just on another level. I'll have to do a completely different video about withdrawals, because it's so bad that it would take me probably an hour to explain to you how bad the withdrawals are. But this is why 100% of the population what are addicted to heroin cannot come off of it, and that's down to the physical withdrawals of it. It's got the power over you. You are a complete and utter slave to it. You cannot function without it. You cannot plan your day without it. And it gets to the point when you've had enough. I don't know when that point will happen in your life, but I know when it happened in mine, and that is when I decided to go onto a program, an outreach program, and they put me onto a substitute called Subutex, better known as buprenorphine in the medical world. So yeah, I went onto that, and by the time I'd gone onto that, I'd made my mind up completely that I was not going to relapse, and I did not ever want to take drugs again. And the reason for that is because I got most of my prison sentences whilst fueled on drugs. So it did get to that point when I knocked it on the head and said, right, enough is enough. I want to go onto a program. So I went onto a program. I went onto a substitute for heroin that took away the physical withdrawals, and that is what it's all about, taking away them physical withdrawals. Stayed on that program for a good few years, probably 7 or 8 years. I'll do another video on that altogether, but it doesn't matter how long you stay on a program, an outreach program, whether it be methadone, Espinal, buprenorphine or Subutex. If you're at that point and you're not taking heroin, then it's only a matter of time before you want to reduce and you want to get clean and stay off of it, because once you're off of it and once you're clean from it, it's a completely different animal altogether. Life is so great. You're no longer a slave to it. You can plan things, you can plan your future. you put weight on, you feel better, you eat better, you sleep better. Well, not for the first 18 months you don't, but you know what I'm saying to you. You're not a sucker to addiction once you're off of it. But yeah, I'm going to leave this video here, guys, because I'm now 15 minutes into it. As I say, I'm on a timeline. But I hope you're enjoying my content. Please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, to share and subscribe to keep me alive. Peace and love to each and every single one of my followers, and I absolutely mean that. You guys are what inspire me to upload more content to you guys. So thank you very much for helping me. Have a great day, everyone. Peace.